Some trades make NHL teams champions. Others leave fans furious for decades. These are the trades that changed hockey history. Some loved and some hated. NHL trades have the power to shape the future of franchises and the emotions of fans. From game-changing acquisitions that lead to championships to decisions that spark outrage, trades define legacies for both teams and players. In this story, we'll look at the most loved versus hated trades in NHL history. Moments that thrilled some fans while leaving others questioning everything. In 2018, the St. Louis Blues made a trade that would change the course of their history. They acquired Ryan O'Reilly from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a package of players and draft picks. At the time, the trade seemed like a gamble. O'Reilly was coming off a disappointing season, and questions lingered about whether he could live up to expectations in St. Louis. What happened next turned this trade into one of the most beloved moves in NHL history. O'Reilly didn't just meet expectations, he shattered them. In the 2018-19 season, he led the Blues to their first-ever Stanley Cup victory. O'Reilly's performance was nothing short of legendary. He scored 23 points in 26 playoff games and became the heart and soul of the Blues lineup. His efforts were recognized with the Conn Smythe Trophy, awarded to the most valuable player of the playoffs. For Blues fans, this trade represented more than just an acquisition. It was the moment their long-standing dream of winning a Stanley Cup became a reality. O'Reilly's relentless work ethic and leadership on and off the ice cemented his place as a hero in St. Louis. Meanwhile, Buffalo Sabres fans were left wondering what could have been. The players they received in return, Patrick Berglund, Vladimir Sobotka, and Taga Thompson, failed to have a comparable impact, at least in the immediate years following the trade. While Thompson later blossomed into a key player, the immediate aftermath of the trade left Sabres fans disheartened. This trade proved that one bold move could rewrite history, turning a struggling team into champions and giving fans a moment they would cherish forever. In the summer of 2015, the Pittsburgh Penguins made a bold move to strengthen their roster by acquiring Phil Kessel from the Toronto Maple Leafs. At the time, Kessel was known for his incredible scoring ability, but his time in Toronto had been marred by criticism, media scrutiny, and a team that failed to meet expectations. The trade to Pittsburgh gave Kessel a fresh start, set the stage for one of the most celebrated trades in NHL history. The Penguins paired Kessel with superstars like Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, and it was a match made in hockey heaven. Kessel thrived in Pittsburgh's fast-paced offensive system. In his first season with the Penguins, he notched 59 points in 82 games, but it was in the playoffs where Kessel truly shone. During the 2016 Stanley Cup playoffs, Kessel led the team with 10 goals and 22 points, helping the Penguins capture their fourth Stanley Cup. His contributions were so vital that many believed he deserved the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. But Kessel's impact didn't stop there. The following season, he once again played a critical role in the Penguins' repeat as Stanley Cup champions in 2017. Back-to-back titles cemented his legacy in Pittsburgh, and fans embraced him wholeheartedly. The narrative of Kessel as an underperforming star in Toronto was replaced by the image of a clutch performer and a fan favorite in Pittsburgh. For the Maple Leafs, however, the trade didn't deliver the same level of success. While they gained young players like Kasperi Kapanen and draft picks, it would take years for those assets to develop into contributors. In the short term, the Leafs endured several losing seasons, making the trade feel lopsided in Pittsburgh's favor. Kessel's move to the Penguins is remembered as one of the most loved trades in NHL history, not just for the championships it brought, but for how it redefined the career of a talented player who finally got his moment to shine. In 2012, the Los Angeles Kings made a trade deadline move that would change the trajectory of their franchise. They acquired Jeff Carter from the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for Jack Johnson and a first-round pick. At the time, the Kings were struggling offensively and were in desperate need of a goal scorer to boost their playoff chances. Carter, who had faced challenges during his short stint in Columbus, seemed like a gamble, but it turned out to be exactly what the Kings needed. Carter's arrival in Los Angeles instantly transformed the team. Pairing him with Mike Richards, his former teammate from Philadelphia, gave the Kings a dynamic duo that brought a new level of offensive firepower. Carter played a critical role in helping the Kings sneak into the playoffs as the 8th seed in the Western Conference, and what followed was nothing short of historic. During the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs, Carter proved to be the missing piece for the Kings. He scored 8 goals and tallied 13 points in 20 games, including a hat trick in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals against the Phoenix Coyotes. His clutch performances and ability to deliver in high-pressure situations made him a fan favorite. The Kings stormed through the playoffs and captured their first-ever Stanley Cup, with Carter's contributions playing a pivotal role. Carter's impact wasn't limited to one season. In 2014, he once again helped lead the Kings to Stanley Cup glory, finishing as one of the top scorers in the playoffs. His ability to come through in crucial moments solidified his status as a key player in the Kings' dynasty years. For Columbus, however, the trade didn't yield the same results. While Jack Johnson provided stability on defense, the team continued to struggle and failed to make significant playoff runs during that era. Jeff Carter's trade to Los Angeles remains one of the most loved trades in NHL history, as it brought not one, but 2 championships to a franchise that had been longing for success for decades. In the summer of 2016, the Edmonton Oilers made a decision that would go down as one of the most controversial trades in NHL history. They sent Taylor Hall, the 2010 first overall draft pick and a fan favorite, to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for defenseman Adam Larson. At the time, the Oilers were looking to bolster their blue line, but the trade left fans and analysts alike scratching their heads. Taylor Hall had been one of the most consistent and dynamic players for the Oilers, known for his speed, skill, and scoring ability. He was the kind of player you build a team around. Despite Edmonton's struggles as a franchise, Hall had been a bright spot in their lineup, amassing 328 points in 381 games during his time with the team. Trading him away for a player who was largely seen as a solid but unspectacular defenseman didn't sit well with fans. As expected, the trade quickly backfired for Edmonton. In his first season with the Devils, Hall thrived. He posted career-high numbers during the 2017-18 season with 39 goals and 93 points, earning him the Hart Trophy as the league's most valuable player. Hall became the first Devils player in history to win the prestigious award, further highlighting the lopsided nature of the trade. On the other hand, while Adam Larson was a dependable presence on Edmonton's blue line, he didn't bring the same game-changing impact that Hall provided for New Jersey. Larson's defensive abilities were solid, but the Oilers' lack of offensive depth became glaringly apparent, especially during critical moments. For Oilers fans, this trade became a symbol of frustration and what many saw as poor management. Losing a player of Hall's caliber, who went on to achieve individual greatness elsewhere, made it hard for fans to accept the trade. This deal remains one of the most criticized moves in recent NHL history, with many viewing it as a prime example of how a single trade can haunt a franchise for years. In 2013, the Washington Capitals made a trade that, in hindsight, is widely regarded as one of the most lopsided deals in NHL history. The Capitals sent their highly touted prospect Philip Forsberg to the Nashville Predators in exchange for Martin Erat and Michael Latta. At the time, the Capitals were pushing for a playoff run, and they believed adding a veteran player like Erat would bolster their chances. Instead, the trade became a decision they would deeply regret. Forsberg had been drafted 11th overall in 2012 and was seen as one of the most promising young forwards in the league. However, he had yet to make his NHL debut when Washington decided to part ways with him. Nashville, on the other hand, saw Forsberg's potential and wasted no time integrating him into their system. It didn't take long for Forsberg to flourish. By his second full season with the Predators, he had become a key offensive contributor, scoring 33 goals and 64 points during the 2015-16 campaign. Over the years, he would go on to establish himself as one of the league's premier goal scorers, consistently leading Nashville in points and becoming the face of the franchise. Meanwhile, the Capitals' side of the trade was a disaster. Martin Erat struggled to produce during his short stint in Washington, recording just 2 goals in 62 games across 2 seasons. Michael Latta, though a fan favorite for his grit, failed to make a significant impact offensively. The Capitals had traded away a future superstar for two players who contributed little to the team's long-term success. For Capitals fans, this trade became a bitter pill to swallow. Watching Forsberg thrive in Nashville while Washington received minimal returns made this deal one of the most criticized in franchise history. It remains a cautionary tale of how short-term decisions can cost a team its future. In 2016, the hockey world was stunned when the Montreal Canadiens traded their beloved defenseman PK Subban to the Nashville Predators in exchange for Shea Weber. This blockbuster trade sent shockwaves through the league, sparking debates among fans and analysts. While both Subban and Weber were star defensemen, the trade was heavily criticized by Canadiens fans who saw Subban as more than just a player. He was a cultural icon and a fan favorite in Montreal. Subban wasn't just known for his electrifying on-ice performances. His larger-than-life personality and generosity off the ice made him a beloved figure in Montreal. He had pledged $10 million to the Montreal Children's Hospital and often went out of his way to engage with the community. On the ice, his dynamic style of play and ability to change games with his offensive skills made him a superstar. The Canadiens' decision to trade him felt like a betrayal to many fans who had grown attached to his charisma and contributions. The trade itself brought mixed results. While Shea Weber provided Montreal with steady defensive play and leadership, he lacked the same offensive flair and cultural impact Subban had. Meanwhile, Subban thrived initially with the Predators, helping them reach the Stanley Cup final in 2017. His personality and skill set fit perfectly in Nashville, and he quickly became a face of the franchise. However, the trade remains controversial to this day. For Canadiens fans, it symbolized a shift in the team's culture, moving away from individuality and flair toward a more traditional approach. Subban's departure left a void in Montreal that went beyond the game itself, making this one of the most hated trades in their history. From game-changing acquisitions to decisions that divided fan bases, these trades remind us of how pivotal a single move can be in shaping a team's history. While some deals bring glory, others leave scars that fans feel for years to come. Which trade do you think was the most controversial? Were there others that you loved or hated just as much? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating hockey stories. See you in the next video.